Okay guys, we're going to do another one here. And I don't normally do this because it's citrus. This is a lemon tree. But I'm doing it for a buddy of mine. And he's going to keep it in his house. It's not going to be planted outside because I prefer them to be grafted onto a different root stock myself. But if you're going to keep it in the house in a pot like this, I put this outside and I may put it in the ground someday. That's why I wanted a true Myers lemon on a rootstock. But he doesn't mind. He's going to keep it in the house. You know, he's not going to be around other citrus trees and stuff. So I'm going to take this branch off right here. But we're going to do this. We're going to let it root first before we remove it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to pop off a couple leaves. And it just dawned on me I don't have my little knife on me, so I'm going to pause you guys for a split second, like you guys are even going to notice it. Alright guys, I'm back with the knife. You know, and this is something else too, guys. I don't normally, when I'm doing figs and mulberry trees and a lot of other stuff, I don't get too technical, but when I'm doing fruit, like apples, oranges, lemons, limes, anything like this, I seem to realize that they take a little longer to root and do a good job of rooting. So is what I do is a lot of people say, well, every time I do this I end up losing it. You know, it molds, it rots, you know, they have a lot of problems with that because it takes so long. And you see how I'm doing that, right? I just poured a little on the leaf, and then I'll take the leaf in here and just wrap it right around that branch what I'm working on, just like that. Put my glasses on so I can see that thorn that I almost stuck in my finger. And that's another thing with citrus, you gotta make sure you watch what you're doing. You don't mind that scar because that's just more spot for the powder. We're gonna wrap that back around there now. Nice. Roll it around, get it on there good. Alright. So we're done with that leaf. Oh yeah. And normally I just use the, on anything else, I just use the Home Depot, Walmart, whatever, root growth. But when it comes to citrus and stuff, I do believe in using the stronger stuff. Sorry, I just seen something crawling on my baby here, so I'm making sure she's not got problems. I don't see any more. Oh, I do, running right there. I'm gonna spray her tonight. But this is alright. We can still do this and spray it later. But, is what I'm trying to get at here, guys. Right here. This is the cheapest, easiest way to do it. It stops a lot of the mold, the fungus, and everything else. Cinnamon. Yes, right out of your shelf. My wife's seen it sitting there. She'd probably kick me in my gonads, but you know what? She's not here. So, this is dry soil. It's not wet. It might be a little damp, but it's not wet. So, I'm taking. Put enough in there to pretty much fill that bag. A tad bit more. That should be good. We don't need that. And I kind of look in if I see any big sticks, debris, anything that might, you know. Little stuff, don't mind. Big stuff, just don't want it in there. Causes air pockets and stuff, and that's mainly the reason I, remove it. And then clumps of dirt and stuff, I make sure anything It's actually compost. The clumps are broken up and mixed in, and everything nice and good. The perlite's in there, compost, and peat moss and perlite. That's it. That's all that's in there. Now I'm going to take my cinnamon over here, and yes, I'm going to put a good helping of it in there. Ooh, that smells good, man. Makes me want cinnamon toast. So now I'm going to Ziploc this. Nice and packed. A little too packed, but I can get it moved in there. I'm trying to mix the dirt and the cinnamon. Is what I'm doing here. That's it. Just mixing the dirt and the cinnamon. And then I'm going to open it back up. And if it doesn't look mixed, do it with your finger. I mean, it's not going to hurt nothing. Get a little cinnamon on your hands. Don't lick it, though. The dirt might change your mind on that one. Oh, hey, guys, and before I forget this one, always, the most important, very most important thing you got to do when you're doing this is make sure you have your coffee. All right. Now, what do I do with it? There it is. We're going to wet down our medium here. And I'm not pouring this water in here. I mean, you can, but you want to be extremely careful because you want this good and moist, but you don't want to be able to wring water out of it. You know, and I know it's not wet enough because this was pretty dry. Had a little tiny bit of moisture in it, and that's it. That's all right. There we go. Throw that down here. Let's button this back up. Now, I'll also show you guys something else I'm going to do different than it. If you've seen any of my other videos doing this type of stuff, normally this bag, get all the air out of there, and that's the same. When I'm doing this, I like to get the air out. You don't have to, because you're going to cut it anyway. But normally I'd cut this bag right here, and I'd take it and I'd put it on the branch. Well, that's longer than what I want. So I'm turning it sideways, and I'm going to cut it here. And I'm going to ramp the branch this way. And it's got a lot of area to grow. Now remember, when I cut this, I've got to pull this up. So this is a new trick I've been doing. I want to get this over here, get it ready, before I forget it, jump ahead of the game. A little dirty. Get rid of that. And I try to use clear tape because it's the same reason. I mean, I use duct tape all the time, but it's the same reason, same principle of using clear tape to me as it is using a clear bag. Otherwise, why not just use a black bag, right? But I cut it across. I'm going to pull this up and show you when I get done. Okay. I cut it this way and then a little bit on each side here, just at the bottom, not where this is, just so I can make sure that I'm getting that dirt all the way up and around, and then I'm pushing reaching in here and grabbing those plastic flaps and pulling them upward, and then pushing the bag together and installing my tape. Now, I'm going to warn you guys, when you're doing this, if you're doing this on anything, I mean, to me, doing it on the citrus is easier than doing it on a rose bush. But it's the same thing. Watch out for those flipping stickers, man. I just got one in the knuckle. Anyway, that's it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This branch is probably not going to come off of here. I'm going to say 4 months. I'm just giving it a guess. My apple tree took a year and 4 months, almost, or more like a year and 3 months and a half, or something like that. What are you saying? Year, March. Huh? Way off. I took it off last month, beginning. That'd have been 8. Holy! That apple tree took 1 year, 8 months, approximately 7.5, 8 months. That's amazing. It took that long, but it's doing good. Now, something else I want to tell you guys, and I've had people go, "Oh my God, I threw it away. I thought it was dead." When I do this, a lot of times when you take this off of here, I'm going to turn that. I don't want it to turn after it starts rooting. That's the gravity's going to pull it down there, so that's how you want it. Anyway, when I cut this off, put it in dirt, it may lose every flippin' leaf on it that I don't take off, because I'm going to take a bunch of them off and then cut a bunch of them in half when I remove it. Now, when that happens and they start all falling off, don't give up on it. Keep watching it, because I've noticed that a lot with the citrus, the apples. My apple tree out there looks really good right now. It doesn't have a whole lot of leaves on it because it started putting out the fresh leaves, the new ones. And so I went through after it's got enough to, keep it going. So I went through and removed all the dying, the dead, the ones that had brown around the edges and stuff from when I first cut it. And let's imagine this was it. It was way bigger, but I cut it way down as well, because this apple tree, the base of it is about that big around. That's why it took a year and 8 months, 7, 8 months, is because it was so big. This thing is smaller around than a pencil. Almost as big as a pencil, but smaller. So it shouldn't take as long. And I did that on the apple tree, is I gave up on one because I didn't think it was going to grow, and I removed it and removed the branch and everything, and I got busy that day because I was going to take the other one off and forgot about it. And then I was back in my backyard cleaning up dog mess, and I looked up and saw it, and I'm like, gosh, Christ, I forgot to take that off there. And that's when I realized it was full of roots. A year and 8 months. I didn't realize it was that long. I thought it was more like a year and 3 months. But I did that tree on December, Christmas Day. I remember that. Easy day to remember. 2021, Christmas Day. I went back and I did the same thing I did here, but about that big around. The package was about that big. The base was that big. So the package was this big and about that far. And I did it, and then I wrapped some, because I knew I was going to have to go through winter. I wrapped some foam. It was actually an old sleeping pad for camping, and it was like aluminum colored on the outside, so I thought, man, this is perfect. And I took that and I wrapped it around that one cutting, and the other one I just put regular tinfoil on. And I think that's why the other one dried up and died, or didn't die. The branch is still there. I'm gonna take it off. I think I took it off because it looked ugly, because it had a big bare spot where I tried to do this. But like I told you guys, I live and learn, and then what I learn, I'm going to tell you. And this is something that I've been using, and I've done a few of these videos, and every time I'm like, oh man, I forgot to tell them again. Cinnamon. You want to use it when you're doing stuff like this, especially with anything that you think, or if you live somewhere where there's a lot of moisture, you want to do this. Because the more moisture, the more likely you're going to have fungus and everything growing. And this will help. Cinnamon, believe me, it's not going to help this thing grow. That's where it irritates me when I see people do this on the internet, is they're telling you that this is going to help it grow. No. The plant's going to grow on its own, or you're going to have to use root growth. This is not going to help it grow. It's going to help it not get fungus, so it'll grow, but it's not going to help it grow, as in make it grow roots or anything. None of that other stuff will actually help with that, except the one thing that I do believe that does work is the aspirin. Yeah, this baby's been growing like a weed this year. I mean, all this is all new growth. You see how dark this is up here? That's original growth. All this, I mean, they were real short in here this year, and it's just loving it. But I got it behind a shade cloth here because I'm working on it. But she's looking really good. I'm going to leave her at that. I'm going to take that one branch, and I may come back in and take this one as well, this other lower branch. Get rid of both of those low branches, and that would make another really nice tree. But I may just cut that off after this one comes off. I might do that, because I won't do this unless I know it's for somebody that is going to keep that tree in their home. It's not going to be planted outside, because there's just, on its own rootstock, I don't think it'll survive here, especially in Reno, Nevada, outside. So, alright guys, I'm going to call this one good. If you have any questions, subscribe to the channel. That way you can start giving me some ideas, and let me know what you'd like to see. And maybe we'll do another cooking one after this. Alright guys, thank you. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel.